Great guy. If you haven't met him, he is a candidate for APCO second VP, and he asked to be here to speak to the membership today about his candidacy. And so we'll go ahead and hand it off to Mark.
Thanks, Katie. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So thank you for that awesome introduction. I really do appreciate that. My name is Mark Spross, as Katie said. I am running for APCO International Second Vice President. So I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you why I've decided to go down this crazy adventure, but super excited to do it. I wanted to give you a little bit about my background, why I'm running. And then honestly, I'd love to have the support of the great state of Washington, just to the north of us here in Oregon. Part of the awesome Western region. So I don't want to take a ton of your time, but just real quick, let me tell you a little bit about my background and experience on why I think I'm qualified. So I've been in public safety now for about 32 years. Over that time, I've had the opportunity to work in several different 911 centers, from as small as about 80,000 calls a year, all the way up to about 400,000 calls per year. Again, ranging in size from about 12 full-time staff to over 40. During that time, I've worked as a dispatcher, supervisor, technical manager, operations manager. I actually left the ECCs for a little bit to work as an emergency manager and a deputy sheriff. And I'm currently the executive director of an amazing agency down here in Woodburn, Oregon. Through APCO, at the chapter level, I've been extremely involved with all of the positions, including working as on the executive board, president, past president, et cetera. I had the phenomenal opportunity to host the 2016 Western Regional Conference in Portland, which again, I have to say thank you to our wonderful partners in Washington, because you were part of the reason why I was so successful. You sent a ton of folks down to help support us for that. And it was probably one of the most successful Western regionals we've had, which is super exciting. Other stuff I've done at the chapter level, I've served on a whole bunch of different committees. The one that I'm probably the most proud of is our legislative committee. I will tell you, working with our legislators, as you can imagine, can be somewhat frustrating and challenging. But through that process, I've been able to be part of the team that has passed some pretty significant legislation here in Oregon, including an increase to the 911 tax. And as I know you know, that is not necessarily an easy task to accomplish. On the national level, I've worked on various task force committees, including being chair. I'm currently a group leader, which oversees 3 or 4 different committees, which gives me the opportunity to work closely with our current executive committee, as well as the board of directors, to update everybody on what's going on with our different committees. I've also, I think sets me apart from some of the other candidates. I've worked in a variety of different organizations. So being our own form of government where I am now, I've worked at cities, counties. At the state level, I'm currently appointed by the governor of Oregon to oversee the state agency. It's Oregon Emergency Management, that's responsible for our 911 network in the state, as well as the distribution of our tax dollars. I've had an opportunity to work in federally declared disasters, and I've also responded with the Office of Emergency Communications to go and evaluate different communication systems throughout the nation. If you remember, after September 11th, a whole bunch of money came out that allowed for agencies to improve their interoperability. And I had the fortune to be able to travel around the country to look at different systems and work with the Office of Communications. So that in a nutshell is my background. There's a lot more to it. If you'd like to know, please let me know. Although I'm very fortunate to have worked with several of you wonderful folks in Washington. So you can ask around. They can update you a little bit more. Please don't throw me under the bus, but they all have good stories about me. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about real quick is my campaign platform. People are saying, well, what are you running for? And I'll be honest, this is going to be boring for you. I don't have a ton of exciting things to bring to the table because I think that our plate is extremely full. Now, with that said, I'm prepared to pivot, and there's actually a couple of things that I would like to work on. But before we even get there, the 3 big things for me would be the Next Gen 911. As you guys know, back in December, we lost our opportunity to get that $15 billion in funding. There's still that window, although the challenge is the FCC had until mid-March this month to sell the spectrum. I don't believe that we're going to get enough progress to make that happen, at least from our elected officials. But after talking with our government affairs from APCO, it sounds like we're definitely going to still have a path forward with that. So I really want to work on that. As you know, some states in this country don't need it. You guys are actually a leader in that way with your next gen network. But there's a lot of states, including Washington, that can still use those funds to help improve and build out our next gen networks. The next piece is a reclassification. It's been on the radar for a while now and is pretty frustrating. Again, I've had an opportunity to talk with our government affairs folks, and it sounds like we have a great opportunity still to push this forward. The challenge is there's been a few roadblocks, and it's not just from our elected officials. So I am excited to have the opportunity to work with our government affairs staff to see if we can maybe better educate some of those that have been speed bumps along the way, and then to try to get this passed. Now, with that said, I want to make sure folks understand that the reclassification is not going to make any instant difference in our career. However, it's the right thing to do. We should not be classified as clerical. It's just wrong. The other thing that I'm hopeful for is that this will give us the opportunity for those coming behind us to work at the state level to make some significant changes, actually also at the federal level. So real quick at the federal level, my hope is that the FLSA laws will change so we can have schedules that are similar to what our police and fire partners have. Doesn't mean we have to, but we should be able to have that ability based on what our agencies want to do and not be in violation of federal law. At the local level, I'm hoping that this reclassification will give the states the credence that they need to work on a couple of big important areas. One that we're actually fortunate to have here in Oregon is with PTSD and mental health. That about 2 years ago, the legislators have added that to a list of OSHA-approved filings that police and fire can use if they end up having a significant incident. And fortunately, they included telecommunicators. But that should be in every state. It shouldn't just be here or there across the country. And the other big one is retirement. I really am hopeful that this reclassification will give you at the state level the ability to go, look, everywhere you look, we are considered the same as our police and fire partners, but we're not receiving the same retirement benefits. And we really need to look into this. I know it will be more of a look forward than a look back, which is why I say it will really impact those coming behind us. But it needs to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have that for myself where I am in my career, but we really need to make that change. The next big one is health and wellness. We have a great committee at the national level, but they've been working for several years, and we need to find some additional ways to help them push out the information they're collecting. So everybody at the state and the ECCs can use that data instead of recreating the wheel. We've come a long ways with where we've been, but I think we can do better. And this committee has done some phenomenal work, and I really want to help facilitate getting that information out. So 2 other areas I want to touch on real quick. The other is I'd like to be involved with the CEO recruitment. Now, when I say that, my understanding, I'm sorry, if you didn't know, Derek has announced his retirement from APCO August of 24. I do strongly believe that we'll probably have a name given to us at Nashville, because I know they have a committee already working on that. But if that doesn't occur, I would like to at least have the opportunity to provide a voice on the selection of that person, because they're extremely important with what our professional staff do, as well as our elected officials in Washington, D.C. So we really want to make sure that we pick the right person. And I also am hopeful that that person can help build some bridges with our other professional organizations that we work closely with. Finally, and frankly, I think this is a biggie for everybody that is, well, west of the Mississippi. And that is if I'm elected, I will be the only person on the executive committee that would be from west of the Mississippi. 911 is 911, and I get that. But as you know, we do things slightly different in the West Coast that they do in the middle of the country that they do on the East Coast. And I think it's very, very important to have that balance and to ensure, I mean, for those that know me, you know I'm not afraid to bring things up and I'm not afraid to talk. And I do think that that's important that we have that balance on the board. So with that, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I would love to answer any questions that you may have for me. And again, I'm super excited to hopefully have the support of my friends in Washington as I go down this crazy road for second vice president.
Okay, open up for any questions. Did you have a question? Is there anybody online that has any questions for Mark? Looking around the room and everybody's shaking their head. Nothing here. All right. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate you taking the time to come today.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your conference. I look forward to seeing you guys in Nashville.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Take care.
Minutes, next thing on the list was to approve minutes. We had August 9th, but we don't have October 4th, so I would, hear a motion to approve the minutes that were posted for August 9th. Anyone? Thank you. Second? All right. Any, discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Announcements. So I have several announcements. One is that you were planning on going to Western Regional Conference. I'm sorry to say, canceled, not going to Utah this year. They didn't have enough pre-registrations. They didn't have enough pre-registrations and they just couldn't, foresee getting enough folks. So. I know. Oh, I'm glad you didn't. We have scheduled the May forum for May 15th and the 16th. And the 17th is the AC meeting. The May forum will be at the Capitol Event Center in Tumwater. And the registration for that just went out. I haven't posted it to the website, but I will do that in the next day or so. It's $336. I don't know why we didn't round up, but $336 for full registration, including the chapter event, which will be on the Wednesday evening. We don't know what we're going to do yet. So if you have any good ideas, please send them our way. We'll be making that plan next week, I think. Right now, we're talking about axe throwing, board games, nights, bowling. So you can do left-handed. We would all have to be behind you though. So if you have ideas, please send them our way. We're happy to entertain those. The fall conference has been scheduled. We are planning on, it will be in Wenatchee instead of Tri-Cities this year. We're confirming with the host hotel, and as soon as we get that done, they're not prepared to take your registrations yet. So once we get that finished and finalized with them, then we'll post that information. We want to have the registration open by mid-April for both the registration attendees and for the vendors. So that'll be coming up. The dates are the third week in October. I think it's like the 17th through the 20th. Tuesday, the 17th through the 20th. Or you should look online because I have it online. Well, it's supposed to be like 65 in October. Yeah. Serious. All right, with that, we are planning on our call for papers. Those are going to be open in the next couple of weeks. So if you're thinking about what did you want to see at the next conference and you know someone that you think would be good for doing a presentation, get those guys prepared because we'll be publishing that. We do have scholarships available to attend conference. Those scholarships are, the information's online. And there's one that's kind of primarily focused on telecommunicators, supervisors, those kind of folks. And then one that's focused on IT or technical, not just IIT, but GIS, IT, all that kind of stuff. So we have two options. Those are due June 1st. So go online, look for the scholarships. We have updated the forms and updated the information there. So you can download the form and submit that. Questions on the announcements? Oh, I bypassed it. Sorry. So this year, the executive committee approved another subcommittee kind of work group, and that is a work group tied to a fully resourced 911. And they're going to be holding a 911 recruitment event in April. It's the Saturday of the last day of Telecommunicator Week. Thank you. April 15th. Thank you, Adam. It's going to be at Southdown 911. They're inviting any PSAP who wants to come to attend. It's kind of like a 4 or 5 hour day. There'll be refreshments in the morning. There'll be light lunch snacks. We have telecommunicators. We have directors. We have police officer, firefighters, to talk about the job and how important being a telecommunicator is. We have someone coming to talk about prepping for testing that you might experience coming for that event. And then there'll be opportunities to have your own table. You can talk to people if you want to. You can do whatever you want as far as, you know, what your agency wants. Absolutely, exactly. Well, stop. Business appropriate, Carl.
And also for any PSAPs that can't make it, like just on the east side, we're planning on doing one on the east side, fallish time frame. But if you wouldn't, please send stuff, send
Right.
pamphlets for your, any flyers or anything, we'll make sure that it gets out to people.
Absolutely. This is only the first one that we're doing, and we plan on doing them regionally as much as we can. And we're going to build off each one as we learn more and go more. The concept of the fully resourced committee is really focusing on reintroducing 911 to the community and making the jobs that we have in the PSAP, not just telecommunicators, while that's this focus on this one, but not just telecommunicators, but other positions within the comm center, making them accessible and make folks aware of them and interested in them. Thank you for catching that. Any questions on all those things? All right. New business. So we have the telecommunicator certification board update. I'm not sure if Richard's available on the call or not. That Richard's on the call. Do you want to, so they have met, I know they've met a couple, I was just gonna say, I didn't mean to for that, no, okay. So they've met, they meet twice a month, or they have been meeting twice a month. They've been making lots of really great progress. The information is on the website, the APCO website. There's a link from our APCO chapter site to that website. So if you want to look at agendas and previous meeting notes, I know that they have asked the state telecom training subcommittee to do a lot of work for them. And so right now, I think they're at a point where they're kind of going to go into a lull while they wait for all the information that they've requested to come back to them. Okay. Do you have any comments on that, or are you good with that?
Nope. I think got the group together finally, so that's where we're at. We're working on it.
Woohoo! Yeah, they just keep meeting and coming up with more work for you guys.
I don't know that.
That's the point.
We're getting there.
No.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what we're waiting for.
We will also have work for policy and there'll be other work
That's
out there
true.
also.
Authorities probably
And
don't.
authorities, I think.
Yeah, because we got bylaws out of the way. We're, just kind of going through the process of trying to decide on different components, what things should look like, and then getting input from like training committee. What does core training look like? What does additional training look like? All those pieces. So,
Yeah.
when we finally get to writing WAC, we'll be using authorities to help us. Yeah.
So we had 3 meetings where we were kind of doing a 911 101 because some of the people on there, we always assume that everyone on our work and stuff are 911 folks, not. So we had a lot of education to bring everyone up.
That is true. That is true.
It is very productive. They're great meetings.
I agree. They are. Okay, so the next thing we had is PGAC, and we wanted to give an update on the retirement bill. Carl, since you're here.
Yeah, well, Wendy's not on the call. She keeps trying to give me everything.
Oh,
No,
right.
it works the other way around. So, just a few things for those of you that know the cutoff to get bills out of House of Origin was back on March 8th. The Senate Bill 5328 on the Senate side is dead. It didn't get out of committee, but the House Bill side, 1055, did get out of its House of Origin. It moved over to Senate. It was in Senate Ways and Means. It's out of Senate Ways and Means and in Rules. And Rules is where bills can sometimes go to die. So we're going to be focusing another public lift from our community as a whole in 911 to ensure that it gets out of Rules. All the votes have been outstanding, whether they've been unanimous or close to unanimous, positive on the House and Senate side. So it's been great. I think we have a really good shot at getting it done. We just have to keep the pressure on. And I will say to our broader community as a whole, the engagement from 911 has been outstanding. We've had the times when we've had public testimony, the ability for you to register public testimony. We've had well over 300 people at a time submit written, saying that yes, they support it. We've had no one write that they were not in support of it. And that's that outreach. Thank you to Katie for just outstanding. This is how, just follow the little Mickey Mouse and you will get to where you have to go. Like without that, most people would just not get involved. Super, like that, I gotta tell you, that is the game changer. So I mean, super appreciate that. So that's great. We're just gonna keep pushing on rules. It has to be out of rules, by it's got a couple of weeks, right?
What is
Yeah,
it?
the first week of April.
Yeah, all of those shifted over to the other house, but it was able to skip the committee in the Senate because they heard a sister bill.
Right.
And even though it didn't pass, they were able to do it right. They went right to exec it out. So we're well ahead. And I think next Tuesday is the first full rules. So.
Right. So we'll keep an eye out. We haven't been successful at getting any of our bills pulled on the first poll, which always makes us nervous, but
In the House,
we'll see. We'll
In
see.
the House is the same way. The House we did,
So-
Senate we did.
Right.
Senate we've been able to, so hopefully that's.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. We're also keeping an eye on substitute House Bill 1134, which is the 988 bill. And there's been some great amendments that were made to that are, some of them are fairly beneficial. House Bill 1661, which was a pilot program for 988, died its death in its own rules. So, that's really all I have to report. Just a thank you to all of the 911, the telecommunicators, and our partner agencies and our directors for their outreach, making phone calls, writing letters, providing written and oral testimony is what makes the difference. So we are loud and not ashamed of telling them how it is. So
Right.
we just got to keep it going.
We're
That's it.
dispatchers after all.
That's right.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been, it's been a fruitful so far session, and we really want to get push past the finish line. This is really important. So after that, we have treasurer's report. Andy, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Sure. So we got our, NENA rebate, and close to the end of the year, and I got your bank was 3,460. We earned 20 cents interest in February from Columbia Bank. Then something strange happened, and it turns out that our accounts, because they were open in Goldendale, the account belonged to a branch in Goldendale. Well, Columbia and Oakwood merged, and part of that merger sold off Columbia branch in Goldendale to First Security Bank, which is a Sonoma County, associated with Sonoma County. And so our accounts are now at First Security Bank. And that all happened on the 27th of February, and on the 28th, we got an interest payment of 62 cents. Oh, so for all today's, we got 62 cents. I'm sure that's not going to continue. Nonetheless. So I feel pretty comfortable right now. Originally, I was a little concerned about this scheme, how it came about, how I came about, but I'm feeling a little more comfortable with it. I could go down to my pocket to a Columbia Bank before, and I could go to Puyallup for a First Security Bank. Part of the merger also sold a bunch of the Columbia and Unclosed branches in Oregon, so there's now some First Security in Oregon. There's a few over in Eastern Wyoming. So
Bring it up.
if whoever's my successor, wherever they are, it shouldn't be too difficult to keep the banking going without having to change it.
What happens with the signature cards?
Say again, please.
What happens with the signature cards?
Nothing, they
Travel with them?
went to the accounts.
Okay.
That was one of my big questions.
That was a problem.
How am I gonna find out how to get Chris to? But I did find out that there is a loan branch or business branch of some sort in Vancouver.
Oh, very good.
Even though they don't do the normal branch banking stuff, signature cards they can do.
Very good. Thanks.
Bottom line is we've got, 25,044.13 in the savings and 44.6 in checking. Richard and I exchanged a couple of brief emails about the agreement that we reached in the committee, about the NENA account picking up the difference in the lobbyist fee. And instead of doing it monthly, Richard suggested that I could simply write a check on a quarterly basis and it takes care of this. So your permission, I'd like to have Richard and I figure out how to make the funds move on.
Good. Thank you for bringing that up, because one of the things the executive board needed to report to the membership was an adjustment in the 2023 budget for NENA. So at the beginning of the year, we reconcile and update the contract with our lobbyist. So that bill increased for this year. The executive board reviewed the performance of the lobbyist and expectations and the work that we get out of the lobbyists and the benefits that the chapter has enjoyed because of the lobbyists, and agreed to the increase. What we didn't want to do is overly expend all the money out of the APCO chapter money. So we do have funds in the NENA. So the excess from what was originally budgeted for the lobbyist each month will be taken from the NENA account versus just adding all of that into the APCO account. So that's what Andy's talking about as far as getting that money from NENA over to APCO. But I think that hopefully everyone here can recognize Scott Sigmund has been instrumental in the work that we've done, and we've finally seen, I mean, we've been putting money into the lobbyists for many years, trying to get many things accomplished. We got the 0.2% tax increase for the communications bill. We've gotten our organization added to a number of pieces of legislation so that we were part of the discussion and part of the work that is tied at various levels of the RCW changes. We have been able to, of course, secure the training certification last year. This year, we are well on our way to securing the change to retirement. And there's others that we got a position identified on the SIUC. So there's been a number of wins with the lobbyist work. And while it hurts my chest to pay that amount, it's important. It's important to have it because our PSAPs can't lobby and the state office can't lobby. So we're really the only ones that are left to do any lobbying for 911. And we're finally getting some name recognition, where we've spent enough time on the Hill now. We talk to so many of the senators in the House with representatives that they start seeing us year after year. Scott's a really great ambassador for the association. And so we fully supported the adjustment to that.
And I think there's been a number of folks in the research, and even with the increase, we're still getting a pretty good bargain.
Yes, we are. Yes. So thank you very much for that. The membership report will be attached to the minutes when we get those posted. The chapter recognition, I wanted to put on here to remind folks of two things. If you send us information about recognition that you're doing at your comm center at PIO@apconena.org, we will do two things. We'll post it to the website and stuff like that. I'll also keep all of that, and I include it in the annual membership meeting at the conference. So it'll be kind of like a reminder. So send anything that you're doing as far as, baby deliveries and, completing training and life-saving awards and just annual anniversaries, fun stuff too, whatever you'd like. We'd like to really start getting more content out there on social media and on our website also. Yes, this is a big thing. So Telecommunicator Week is coming. And one thing I missed up at the top was the kudos board. So we have the kudos board. If you scan it from the agenda, You can go to it, send it to your partner agencies, send it to your vendor community. This kudos board is basically like its own little Facebook page, and it's tied specifically to Washington telecommunicators. It's free. You just go to this page, you click in there and say who you are. You can add a GIF if you want to, and you can put in some words of recognition and encouragement. And that's for the entire state telecommunicators. Of course, if you want to shout out to your own comm center, that's great. But the idea is that not every PSAP is doing anything for Telecommunicator Week. And so we wanted to have a way to acknowledge folks this way. We also are able to take that and put it into a big banner that we put on the wall at conference. It also turns into a slideshow that we use at conference as well. So it's just an easy way to say thank you for folks. And that brings me to the last thing about recognition, and that's, of course, we do the chapter. The new thing this year was the chapter calendar. So as you're doing fun stuff, maybe it's not recognition specific, but you're just having fun doing cool things and being telecommunicators in that comm center. But if you have pictures to share, send them to photo@wapconena.org, and I will include them in my packet full of pictures to build the calendar for next year. So we sent out the first ones this year. Everybody should have one. If you didn't get one at your comm center, I don't know, tell me and I'll send you another one. But it's fun to do that. That was a fun activity. And each month I try to put in things that are relevant to what's going on in the chapter for the year. So that's photo@wapconena.org. Okay, we've come to the final end of our agenda, and now it's good of the order. Before we do that, I'd like to introduce a couple of new people that we have in the room. So maybe we'll just go around the room and then you can introduce yourselves as you go. And I'll start with me, Katie Myers, current president of the chapter. Nathan.
Yes, my name is Nathan Jacob. I am the new territory manager for COSERCO. We provide the data recorders for PSAPs, Hyder Baron, but I'm actually based here in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, I've been spending the last couple of days covering most of the state. I just came this morning from San Juan. And I'm based out of the Tri-Cities. My territory covers all the way over to Montana and then down into Oregon as well. But we do have teams here locally now, and we look forward to working with you and getting to know each of you, but seeing what we can do to help you guys in your respective PSAP centers.
Great. You said Barron? Is that what?
Eventide and Barron are the two products
that you guys have. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Bridget Little Weaver on Andy's way.
I'm Andy Little, we were the NENA treasurer.
Adam Mossman on this.
Coordinator.
Meyer from Osagon County and Tracy Ollerman, CCOM, and
Brad Sweet, Lincoln County, second month on the job. And I'm coordinator.
Welcome, Brad.
Welcome.
Andy Barrett with Whitman County.
Carl Hatton, Clallam County, PennCom, and the co-chair of the PGAC.
Christopher, Clark County 911. I'm the secretary for Washington APCO NENA and the awards chair.
Speaking of awards.
Speaking of awards, I will, but wait, we have people online.
Yeah, I know. Can you call them out?
I sure can. I'd
Thank
love
you.
to.
Call them
Not call them out, but I know.
Well, first
Call
we have a phone number. It ends in 76 and the rest is hidden. Who would that be? You logged on probably a little bit later in the game.
This is Dana Hanford with the sales group. I've been on since I came on about a minute late.
Hi, Dana. Sorry, it doesn't show that it's you.
Oh, okay. It should say 9076 is my last four digits.
I see 76. Thank you.
Okay,
Fred,
that's good. Okay.
You can go next.
Hi, I'm Fred Miller. I live in Washington and I've moved my NENA registration up here, so hopefully I'm showing up.
Nice.
But I was formerly with Motorola. Some of you know me from CallWorks selling 911 and Vesta earlier on. And I'm working for NGA, which is one of the companies that is on the state of California agreement. And we're selling call handling like it's going out of style. It's hosted call system. So if anybody needs anything, please let me know. If there's anything I can do for NENA or APCO, I'm happy to help. And also sponsor events and sponsor awards and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deanne?
Hi, Deanne Bauman, the Comm Center Director at South Sound 911. And I wanted to give a shout out to Dana Hanford for hooking us up with our chair order. We really appreciate all that you do for us.
Thank you.
Mary Sue?
Hi, I'm Mary Sue Roby. I'm with Valleycom. I'm the Administrative Services Manager, and I am the Executive Council Rep for Washington State to APCO, and I sit on the Executive Committee.
Victor?
Victor Burton. I am the commercial representative for the chapter. And Fred, I don't recognize your name. I'm wondering if I have you on our mailing list.
How do you want me to communicate? Do you want to take my email address or phone number and I can
Sure.
give
Your email address.
Sure. It's fred.miller@nga911.com.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Victor, did you get, Nathan? Did you get Nathan?
Yes.
Okay.
Fred.
Alice. Oh, whoops. Sorry, Victor.
Oh, no worries. I was just speaking out loud. Sorry.
Alice Johnson, go ahead.
Hello, Alice Johnson, longtime Washington resident, chapter member, calling in from Camino Island. Currently working for Entrado, and wish I could be there in person.
Thank you all for being here.
Is that everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you, everyone. And last up is the good of the order. Anything around the room that we haven't mentioned that you'd like to share? Trying to think, I don't have anything. Oh, Carl's got something, y'all.
I always have something.
Always has something.
That's right. Hey, stop it. The research that we've been working on with the University of Washington on stress and resiliency and all that fun stuff, we have been going through a draft of that piece of research. We're preparing, mostly the university is doing it. I've helped a little bit. So they'll be doing, we'll be submitting that paper for professional review and hoping to get it published and providing a bunch of data points that can be used by 911 centers and the state 911 office in trying to develop some mitigation for stress and all that fun stuff. So interesting piece of research. And again, a thank you to all of the PSAPs that participated and all of the individual telecommunicators and supervisors, managers that added information to the survey. That was all helpful. And we're still compiling data and trying to organize a lot of the data so that we can do statistical analysis. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Seeing what comes out of that.
Yep.
Yes.
In the same lane as Carl was just mentioning, the Tacoma Fire Department and a medic specifically in the fire department made a 1-hour film about PTSD or stress in the fire service. The title is The Call We Carry. And I think if you take time to watch it, you'll see a lot of familiarities. The stress that the firefighters go through is very specific to firefighters, but it's very similar to what call handlers, telecommunicators go through as well. And perhaps something similar as a PSA kind of thing could be developed out of the research.
Where can that be viewed, that documentary? YouTube. And tell me again who put it out?
Cody Shea, SHAE, and he's a medic with the Tacoma Fire Department.
Okay, thank you.
As a side road, like as a sidelight.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
And I guess on that same line too, I guess I can add the sentence. So there's an APCO chapter. I'm on the APCO International Health and Wellness Committee in the training and conference division. So initially we were working on conference building courses for that. And then I just had a meeting today and we're making we can't make a class because the executive board or committee doesn't want it like tied saying this is APCO's class that you have to use, but we're making a template of slides of stuff you can deliver at your center, revolving script. So we've got a whole layout and then we'll put in the notes like things to consider talking about, resources you can use, and then you'll be able to take that template and that PowerPoint, bring it back to your center and develop a stress management, critical incident, or so it'll be a resource.
That's great news.
Yeah, so they're working on that, and I know like the health and wellness committee is broken up today, like a peer support that I was on last year. I think, and so, and then also on that note, Jamie Hopkins has a peer support network that I've been involved in, and it's the same thing, they're working with the chaplain down in Tacoma, and he has some training that he sends out, and so I know we're working on the training that we'll be able to, Washington State will have access.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Ties in with that, but I don't know if everyone's aware of the resources for behavioral health for 911, fire, for your yeah, and family members. So you should go to WASPIC website and sign your agency up, and it's an app on your phone.
Oh, yes. I remember an email about that.
We're rolling
And I
that out
did that.
in Port Angeles, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, free for use, right? And it's resources and stuff like that on there. Okay. See if we can find something. We can add to the notes specific to markets. And
Put the link on there.
yeah. We can find it.
The link I have.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything else? The room's full of dinner, so we're good. Okay. I don't see anything online. It doesn't look like. I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Moots. Any opposed? All right, we will close down the meeting at 5:49. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank
Bon
you.
appetit.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.